Alright, I've got the BC Rich Warlock scratches all touched up. Now it's time to change the strings. The strings go on a little bit different than other guitars. So this guitar has a bracket that slides off two large screws that are built into the guitar. And the screws will come into play later because they adjust how high the strings are away from the neck. As long as you can slide the bracket off right now without any issue, you can worry about the screws later. The strings have to go through these holes on this bracket, and it's going to be easiest to put all the strings in through these holes now before we wind them. I'm going to throw a pair of Elixir nickel-plated nanowebs on this thing. As I said, we're going to put all the strings through this bracket first, so be careful not to let the bracket slide off the guitar. That can happen real quick. For a moment, I put the bracket on top of the pickup so that it wouldn't slide off the guitar, but then I just went back to doing what I was doing before. Alright, I got all the strings through each hole in the bracket. Now I'll slide the bracket in place and start winding the first string. I did have some trouble getting the bracket to fit. To do this, I had to loosen the screws a little bit. I tried using a quarter. That was a massive pain, so I wound up getting the flathead screwdriver. If you've got a flathead, just use that. Starting with the low E string, line the string up with the indentation that's on the bracket, and then bring the string all the way down the neck. I used to wind all the strings and then cut the excess off, but that leaves a dangerously pointy part of the string. That's also what hillbillies do. So now I put my finger at the string post where the string goes into, estimate about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.25 inches, and then cut the string right away before winding. It winds up being a significantly cleaner result. Sobriety Sounds invested in an automatic tuner a while back. We tune so many instruments, this really just makes things a lot easier for us. The model that's in my hand is called the Roadie Bass, which is strong enough to tune acoustic bass strings. Our first one malfunctioned, so we had to get a replacement. That's why we always get the warranty, but I wound up putting grip tape all over this one so that it wouldn't slip out of our hands. We definitely don't want this $150 piece of hardware hitting the ground. Not only can the Roadie Bass act as a winder, unwinder, it can tune our instruments, but I can also create custom tunings. So for example, sometimes I'll do the Goo Goo Dolls song Name, which has a really unique tuning. Rather than trying to remember what the tuning is every time I want to play it, as long as I establish it as a custom tuning ahead of time, that tuning will always be right at my fingertips, so I can play the song whenever I want to. It's pretty dope. So I wasn't paying close enough attention to where the string was being tightened to, so once or twice during this process, the string that I was winding wasn't directly on the notch where it was supposed to be. No big deal, all I do is I just unwind the string a little bit, reposition the string, and then go back to winding it again. My dog is watching me as I do this. I wonder what's going on in his head. Alright, this is the finished product. I wish I had a buffer to get some of these light scratches out. Maybe that'll be my next purchase, but before you officially tune this, play some really high notes on the high E, the B string, even the G string. Get up there towards the top and make sure that none of the strings are touching the fretboard as you play. If they are, then go to those big screws where the bracket is sort of snugged into, and then loosen those screws. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Alright, that's it for this video. Peace.